Okay, so we're live now. So we just showed the link video. So they got a sense of your project. Can you just go into more detail how it even came up and how it went through?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm so excited to see all of you, and thank you for the invitation, Kyle. Today's actually my first day of school.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting day here too. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about Project Link and how that started and how that happened, and then I'll also talk about some other ways that you can use Skype in your classroom to connect to your content and your standards, and to then as a springboard for project-based learning. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, great. So I actually started using Skype in my classroom probably about 8 years ago, and used it in some other ways that I'll tell you about after we discuss Project Link. So Project Link came about on Halloween. We heard from Teacher Livingston in Nairobi in Kenya that their water pipes had burst, and so I started thinking about how the math implications of it, and I started thinking about the cost of life straws and water bottles and comparing how much they make in a year compared to what we make. And I knew there was a lot of math implications that relates to my grade level standards in 6th and 7th grade math. So then I started talking to another teacher in my building, and she immediately was thinking about how to connect it to science. And so we just started talking to our other staff members, and to make a long story short, all of our 6th and 7th grade classes jumped in. And that was really the real magic of it, was that students were learning about all the different implications as it relates to the crisis in Kenya in all of their classes. So in journalism, they created the project name and logo. Health, they had guest speakers come in to talk about how it affects the body, and how it would affect their body differently than ours. We had choir, and even in choir, they prepared songs that they sang when we Skyped with the different classrooms. And so really everybody, it was just a staff buy-in and student buy-in, and completely centered and student driven. As teachers, we hoped the students would want to do something, but we did not plant that. We didn't plant that idea in their head. We just told them about the problem, and then helped them learn a little bit about it, and then it was their idea to do something about it. And the students even proposed the fundraisers and how they wanted to go about it. The students made the goals, which was to provide clean water for both schools, and then their next goal was to provide clean water for the children's homes, because our students said they need to have their families need clean water too. And so at this point, we have actually raised money for 330 homes, as well as the 2 schools. Then we are Skype friends with teachers all over the world, and hopefully you guys will be too. By the time we're done with this session, I'll help you guys get set up to do that. And so we started talking to my friend Eero in Greece, and we call them our Skype friends because they are our friends, but we had never been in the same room together. And her class had Skyped with Livingston's, and she said, "I want to help." And so they jumped in and created the project website, which has over 10,000 hits now. It just launched at the end of January. They, in Greece, they're an English language learning school, and so that's her job, is to teach them English. And so they actually wrote and published a fairy tale about Project Link, and all the proceeds for that are going to the project as well still. And then a school in Pennsylvania joined the effort, and that teacher, Mike Soskell, was actually going to Kenya, and so that was perfect. And his students jumped in with the fundraising, and they had already been learning about it, so it was a perfect fit. He was able to be there and document the installation. A lot of the beautiful footage that you just saw came from him. And so it really was just a team effort, and none of us would have been able to predict it ever. Just one of those things that if you are open to students' ideas and their dreams and their goals, then you can't predict where that's going to go. Just as our job as educators is to help make those goals happen, and help support them when they dream big, model it for our kids, and then help support theirs. So that's just a little bit about Project Link. I'm going to take a step back though, because I think when you see a big project like that, it could be overwhelming if you've never used Skype before. So how many in the room have used Skype in their classroom? Okay, good. Well, great. Yes, I see you. So like I said, I started using Skype a number of years ago, and I used it primarily in my math class to connect my students and my standards to experts that use the math in their job. Every job uses all of our content, no matter what you teach. You can always connect every job to what we're teaching. And so I wanted to expose my students to careers that used the math we're studying. It could be careers that they were aware of, and even better if it's a career they didn't even know existed. It's a way to immediately apply what they're learning, but also to expose them to other career paths as well, and help them make real world connections. So it kind of alleviates that question of when are we ever going to use this. So I generally just talk with the experts and say, hey, here's our standards, here's what we're studying, and then they make sure to connect it to those standards. Our students interview the expert and kind of learn from them that way. You can do that if you have people on your own that you want to connect with. The perfect way to connect with experts that are already ready and willing and wanting to connect with your class is the Skype in the Classroom website, which I'll help you guys all get connected to before we leave. I have an easy way to connect you to that. So I Skyped with experts a lot to expose my students to that and to immediately apply what they're learning. Another easy way that you can do it, how many in the room have ever used Kahoot or Socrative or any of those type of things? Okay, well, I love using Skype with Kahoot. It's such an easy way to connect with other classrooms, and just Kahoot is awesome. Kids love Kahoot, and this just brings a whole other layer to it. So how I do that in Skype is I connect with another class that's the same grade level and content area that I am. I can do that on Twitter, finding them on Twitter, on Facebook, or the Skype in the Classroom website. We call each other on Skype, and then you do a share screen. So then everybody uses the same join code. And in my class would be Ryan. All of their screen names is Ryan something. And the teacher we're playing against is their last name, and then whatever they want their screen name to be. And then we have students come up after each question. We take turns. They come up to the screen and explain the problem or whatever the Kahoot question was. We take turns doing that. Kids love it because it also shows kids that what they're learning in your classroom is what someone in another state or even another country is learning too. And it's a pretty low risk way to start using Skype because you can still do the Kahoot lesson even if something goes wrong. There's days that have different themes. So one that comes to mind is the Virtual Valentine Project, where you can connect on the Skype in the Classroom website with other classrooms. It's just like a set day that you do that. There's the global read aloud. There's Squiggles of Awesome. So that's another easy way to start using Skype in your class. That's just kind of like a one-day commitment and kind of getting your feet wet with that. Some tips I wanted to share with you to get kids prepared. So not only does this help bring your content to life, and we know from research and from science that students have to make that emotional connection to what they're learning so that they have so that they remember it long term, and so it has meaning for them. And so not only does it connect to what you're learning and teaching in your class and help them apply that to real life, it's also teaching those 21st century skills of communication and thinking through how they're questioning and all of those kind of things. We talk about body language a lot because you might be talking to a group or a class that does speak English, but you might not be. We talk about that and how they might be nervous on the other end because they're not speaking their native language, and what kind of body language does that. So nodding and smiling and all of those sorts of things. One tip that really helps kids when you first start out is we brainstorm the questions they want to ask before we even start. Then I print them and cut them on little strips of paper, like about this size, and I tape them on a miniature whiteboard. And then I have them pair up with a partner, and their partner holds the whiteboard with the question. and they stand behind the computer, so the person we're Skyping with doesn't see that they're kind of getting a teleprompter, and they can read the question that's behind the laptop, and it just gives them more confidence, so that that's one less thing they have to worry about. Another thing I talk about with students is to make sure that they acknowledge that the person we're Skyping with spoke. So the first time I did a Skype call, we asked questions, and it was with a really great person that had great answers, and then the next kid would just ask a question. We talked about the importance of just saying, "Oh, that's interesting," or "Thanks, I really appreciate that," and so those social skills as well. So let's talk about how to use it as a springboard for project-based learning. Obviously, you guys already saw with Project Think one example of that. Another example I have is a digital billboard project. My class Skyped with a digital billboard designer, and my goal for that was really just to learn how he used ratios and fractions and proportions and equations in his job. That became a much bigger project where it was actually his idea, and he challenged our students to work in groups to create a digital billboard designed for a mass public service announcement. So my students did that using his requirements for certain dimensions and different requirements he gave them. We then had, after the groups made their designs, we Skyped with experts all over the world in graphic design and presenting. And the groups were able to Skype with real experts and get feedback on how to make their designs better. They had one day to edit it, and then they actually presented to the digital billboard designer, who chose one winning design in each class, and then they actually put the digital billboard designs on real digital billboards. So that's another example of using Skype as a springboard for something much bigger, and something that kids will never forget, and they had a real authentic audience, and was applying what they learned in our class. I know we're running short on time, and you guys are about ready to go to lunch. So if you would take out if you have your cell phone on you, you would take out your cell phone and open up like you're going to send a text. Like you're going to send a new text. So I'm going to set you up with some resources to help you get started. So in the text, you're going to send a text to this number, 41411. And then in the line where you would normally put the text message, you're just going to type Skype to learn, all one word, all lowercase, Skype to learn, Skype and the number 2, learn, so this one right here, and go ahead and send that, so all one word, Skype to learn, and then to the exact same number, you can send another text and all one word to mystery Skype, all one word. So if you send those 2 texts, you're then going to get 2 links texted back to you. You'll get a resource that I would recommend opening on your computer, not opening on your phone, and it's going to be a mystery Skype OneNote. You guys all have this? Can I put it down? Okay. So the mystery Skype one will be a mystery Skype OneNote that's going to have everything you could possibly want. It's going to have rubrics that you can give your administrators. It's going to have the questions your students can ask. It'll have printables of signs kids can hold up, anything you could possibly want. That's a great resource for you. Everything's the work's already done for you. The next one, the Skype to Learn, that's going to send you the link for the Skype in the Classroom website. On that website, it's very easy to navigate. You can find classes to mystery Skype with. You can find experts to connect with. You can do field trips, and we're also partnering up with authors and experts for literacy and for coding this year as well. So that's a one-stop place for you with great resources. Okay, do you guys have any questions for me that I can help you with, or anything else you want to ask?
And I'm here too, so I kind of know about Skype, right, Stacey?
Yeah, just a little bit.
So yeah, thank you, Stacey. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
if you guys want to get in contact with her, I have her information. But she's a
And hey, Kyle, I'll go ahead and send you the sway for the billboard project and also for the for Project Link.
okay. Great.
All right. Hey, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, can we do it? Can we do a high five picture?
Oh boy.
All right, hold on. All right, I got it. All right,
Bye.
thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you,
Yes,
Kyle. Bye.